Hi, I'm Sam Lake-Smith. I work at a charity called Migrant. I'm the Regional Operations Manager for Modern Slavery and the VPRS scheme, based here in Dover. I'm here today with Andy Weaver, who's from the HSBC Dover branch, and we're here to talk about the new HSBC survivor bank accounts for potential victims of trafficking. So thank you so much for coming in today.
You're very welcome.
So why did the HSBC Bank decide to introduce this HSBC survivor bank account?
HSBC has been long committed to playing its part in trying to tackle trafficking, including training to staff on how to recognise the signs. As a global organisation, we do have the ability to raise the wider awareness of this problem. The initiative came through our work with charities and organisations involved in trafficking, human trafficking in the UK, such as yourselves, and the realisation we could play a practical part in providing support to victims of this horrible trade.
That's fantastic. So can you describe the service that you provide?
Yes, certainly. It's a new process where survivors of trafficking or modern slavery, they wouldn't normally be able to get a bank account because they wouldn't have documentation, credentials that we require to open a bank account. So the type of accounts we offer is what we call a basic bank account. It gives them access to their money, either online, over the telephone or in branch, but as it says basic, there's no credit facilities. Having a bank account, it's something that we've found that the clients, it helps them to get back up on their feet and get running, and getting them away from the trade, which is the key thing, which I guess you see on a regular basis.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. And how can people access it?
So we've worked with the charities in high risk areas to make them aware of the existence of the type of account we now offer, and identify people who fit the criteria. So applicants are introduced by the local charity partners and have been referred through the national referral mechanism. This is the UK government system by which victims of modern slavery are identified and provided with support. A representative from the charity will attend the appointment with the client, and they will provide a letter from the charity on headed paper which we can take to provide their identification and address verification, where normally this would be insufficient. They would have to, for an account, have to have a passport or utility bills, which we know they don't have access to. So once the application is processed, the account is opened, and they're good, up and running and ready to go.
Can you tell us about any specific client that you've helped?
Yeah, actually, we've received lots of positive comments from both the clients and the caseworkers about the service we have provided. But we had one individual who was actually the first account we opened. So he was introduced by Migrant Help. He was so happy that once he'd got that bank account, he could use it to buy groceries, pay for things, whereas in the past, if he had cash, it made him feel a little bit vulnerable. And it was nice that since the introductory meeting, he felt comfortable enough to come back into the branch when he received his new card and his PIN number, and one of the team went out and showed him how to activate it and how to use it. And then again, about a week, 10 days later, he came in and said he got a job and his money was beginning coming in, and it really makes it feel worthwhile that we're doing this. And then speaking to yourself and also the other caseworkers that come in, they noticed a real positive change in his mental health. Stories like this is kind of why we got behind this project, and it's fantastic to hear that we're able to help this man, albeit in a small way, but for him it was massive.
Where has it been rolled out so far, and are you planning any further expansion into other areas?
We, as I said, we work closely with our charity partners to determine where they've deemed high risk areas. So at the moment we have 22 branches that are designated to open survivor bank accounts, and since we launched the service in March, we've opened 227 accounts for survivors, which we know is making a difference to these people's lives.
Do you know if any other banks are planning to follow your example at HSBC?
So HSBC's initiative is an important element of the United Nations Financial Access Project, They're looking about how to change around the world to support survivors. Through the work we are doing with the United Nations, we're encouraging other banks and financial organisations, especially here in the UK, to replicate the service that we offer to our survivors.
What do you see as the most important aspect of this service?
For me and from HSBC, the service has given many people who previously would have been excluded from opening a bank account a chance to become financially independent. And it's crucial for them, and whilst it might seem small, but it is a massive step to getting themselves back reintegrated into society and moving on with their lives and rebuilding them. And that, from our point of view, any help we can do is fantastic.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming in to see me today. Really appreciate your time.
You're absolutely welcome.
Thank you for watching.